Okay, good morning everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is a stock chart analysis of Netflix. We're going to look at Netflix on a weekly and then a daily chart. So let's start off here with the weekly chart, and we're all the way back here trading in 2002. You can see the first move, strong move up into early 2004. Then we get this first pullback on an impulse wave. And then you can see the activity that trends eventually higher, sideways, then higher into what I call a wave 3. That's what it looks like to me. And then we get the rest of the wave count here over the years up through current last week's data, actually. So it looks like a 1-2 strong third wave, a fourth pullback, and notice how the fourth wave did not overlap wave 1, so that conforms to the Ellie wave rules. And then we get this fifth wave up here. Now, if we've had 5 waves, then the impulse wave is done, okay, to the high side. So now what do you get? You get a corrective action. And the other nice thing is look at the nice channel that it's conformed to, the wave 2 and wave 4 connecting wave 1. Wave 3 actually overlapped a little bit, kind of a little bit of a throw over, but it tied right into wave 5 perfectly. Okay, just a beautiful. Now, the other thing is some folks who don't use semi-log, this is not going to look right to you. When you take this and put it on arithmetic, it totally changes the picture, which is why, especially on longer term charts, there's an arithmetic chart. And of course, these trend lines are semi-log trend lines. So when you take them to arithmetic, they change and convert. But you can see how it doesn't really give you a proportional picture in terms of the moves. That's why when you have longer term and covering a lot of price action, the semi-log puts everything in proportion. So 1 inch down here is equal in terms of dollars or points to 1 inch up here, percentage wise anyway. Let's put it that way. The percentage move that 1 inch covers down here is equal to the percentage move of 1 inch up here. So it keeps everything in the chart in proportion, which is nice. All right, so now if we've got 5 waves up, now we're correcting. Typically what happens is in Elliott wave, you correct back to the previous fourth wave, which would be all the way back down here to around, wow, this is like 57, 60 kind of thing. Now, sometimes it's just into the fourth wave, and you never know how deep for sure it's going to go. So we'll just have to watch the wave count. But let's get into the daily chart here, and let me back off and show the last wave. Okay, so here's the last wave up, starting from August 2012. So we've been in this for 2.5 years. Okay, very strong wave 3, which is exactly what you expect. That's when the big gaps occur. Look at this huge gap at price here, another gap here, another gap here. Those typically are occurring in a wave 3. We've now got the wave 4 pullback. We then got 5 waves up here. The other thing is when you look at this on take a trend line for this entire wave between 2 and 4, you can see it is broken. So, now we are in a sideways to down, and I'm expecting down. The other thing, so let's zoom in on this. Okay, so in terms of a wave count, it looks like we have an initial 5 waves down here. Now we got this strong counter trend, and this gap is really interesting. I'm actually expecting this thing to top out here. I call this as either wave 1 or a wave A. It's come back pretty high for a flat. I mean, if this was 5 waves, it's come back pretty strong. The other thing I want to look at from a technical standpoint, so here's what, from a wave count, I'm expecting this to roll over. Okay, now it hasn't done it yet, so I need that to confirm. Now the other thing, you're seeing these lines in here and dotted lines and everything else. Let me get rid of a couple of them just to get rid of the clutter a little bit. And here was another smaller trend line that was broken, actually lined up with the other trend line. Okay, so the other thing I'm seeing in here is what looks like a potential head and shoulders top. Okay, so This is what I'm looking at here. Okay, this looks like the first shoulder, then this big head, and then a potential another shoulder forming. All right. Now, so I drew this neckline across the bottom here, put a parallel line to this neckline up here, put it at the top of the left shoulder, dotted line. And so I projected that the third one would come in right over here. Now it's almost, actually, you could almost even call this a triple top because the tops are almost right as high as the shoulder. As the head. Very big shoulders. But for right now, I'm gonna, I'm calling it a shoulder, head, and shoulder. So this is the scenario I'm looking for. The price action needs to confirm it. I'm not saying, you're always looking for various setups, various scenarios, and this is what I'm seeing right now. So what do I need to see happen with Netflix to start to confirm? I need to see it start to trend close below the blue line, which is a 10-day exponential, get a couple of closes, and then start to pull on down and get this blue line to cross below the 21-day. This is the 10-day exponential. This is the 21-day simple, my 55-day simple, and my 233-day moving average. I use Fibonacci numbers on my simple moving averages. So when this crosses, kind of like what it did here, and then you start to get it to roll over, and then it trends, 21's below the 55, that's when it's going to be confirming this down move coming off the shoulder. And I expect that when it starts to happen, it's going to happen fairly quickly. It's got this huge gap to fill right here. That's all the way down. The low end of the gap's 334. So we'll see if this is what happens or not. And this is scenario. And again, I do think it's done 5 major waves up. So the interesting thing, the caveat I'll mention here though about corrective waves. Once you get into corrective waves, they can morph into a lot of different things. You can get for example, you can get a corrective wave that's a zigzag, then all of a sudden you get some other kind of a connecting X, and then you could get a flat like this. And you can get multiple, or you can get, let me back out of that, or you can get multiple things. You can get a zigzag that then gets a connecting X and then does another zigzag. So, and become a combo and become very complex, or it can stay simple. So it's just, we have to just watch the wave count and see what happens. Right now, all I'm saying is I am looking for corrective action for this to pull back because it's had the 5 major waves up in terms of the long-term trend over the last 13 years, almost 13 years. Actually, it is about 13 years. All right, that's it for today. A little bit longer than I intended to go, but that's my perspective on Netflix. Everyone have a great Wednesday. We will talk to you soon.